Now, the high school football picks of the week.
It's time for conference play to begin. And the Summit Athletic Conference and non-conference play didn't have a great record. Just a 6-14 mark against non-conference competition for teams of the Summit Athletic Conference, which means 6 teams are still looking for their first victory of the year. 2 of them are going to hook up when Carroll visits Concordia. The Carroll Chargers took on 2 of the state powers in Hamilton Southeastern and Center Grove. Concordia has battled but fallen short in both their affairs. Carroll just has too much offense and too much Jaden Van Pelt. He was terrific against Center Grove. Look for him to have a big night against the Cadets, and Carroll wins it 49-7.
Don't you ever get tired of being wrong?
As Bishop Dwenger finally found their offense. What a nice non-conference win last week for the Saints against St. Francis de Sales of Ohio. The Saints scored 31 points after getting shut out by Roncalli in their first round. Now does that offense translate to the SAC, where they'll take on the Wayne Generals? Wayne still looking for their first win. They've given up 75 points in 2 weeks. I think Bishop Dwenger is going to score enough to beat Wayne 27-12.
The simplest way to put it, I have problems.
With all the teams that are 0-2 in the SAC, 2 teams are 2-0, Northside and Northrop. And as fate would have it, they'll hook up in week 1 of Summit Athletic Conference play at Spooler Stadium at Northrop. The Northrop Bruins offense has been on fire, and Northside's had a couple impressive wins, but they both played New Haven, and Northrop dominated the Bulldogs, while Northside had a real scrum against New Haven. I think for that reason, I'm going to lean toward Northrop. They're playing at home. The head-to-head against a common opponent favors the Bruins. I'll take Northrop to defeat Northside 34-20.
And by the way, I'm not only the HECO president, but I'm also a client.
Who would have thought that Snyder and Lures, our 1380 to fan game of the week, would be 2 teams still looking for a victory. Snyder 0-2, Bishop Lures 0-2, and the Knights have had trouble scoring. Just 7 points through 2 games. For Snyder, it's about giving up big yards on the ground. The Panthers have allowed over 700 yards rushing in their first 2 games. I think Bishop Lures is going to be able to run the ball because they've got a big offensive line, and I think Kyle Lindsey is going to challenge them up front to win at the line of scrimmage and get the 2 sophomores some yardage on the ground. Can Tommy Reichert sling it in the air when Snyder stacks the box? That might be one of the keys to this game. But Snyder has a running game of their own, and I think it's finally going to get on track. We saw Nate Foster break a couple of big runs against his Bishop Lures defense, and Snyder has some of those breakaway backs in their backfield. I'll give Snyder a 20-13 win over the Knights.
Do you know how crazy that sounds?
Maybe the Homestead Spartans have found the replacement for Michael White. The offense looked pretty steady last week. Now they've got Southside to open up SAC play at Southside. And I'll give Homestead a 31-13 win.
You are one pathetic loser.
We've talked a lot about Leo and East Noble. Columbia City, raise your hand. Don't forget about the Eagles. They'll put a big number on Belmont. The poor Braves still looking for a victory after 34 consecutive losses. Columbia City, 56. Belmont, nothing.
You don't know squat, you stupid idiot!
After taking on 2 SAC foes in non-conference play to open up the season, can the New Haven Bulldogs get a win? They take on a 1-1 DeKalb squad that lost to Angola but was able to get by county rival Garrett. This is at New Haven, and I think that makes a difference. I'm going to give it to the Bulldogs over DeKalb, 26-21.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
The Huntington North Vikings are still one of those teams I'm trying to figure out. Just how good are they after dealing with such a devastating graduating class last year? But I think they've reloaded. I think they'll give East Noble a little bit of a battle. But East Noble is just too good. The Knights are going to win it up in Kendallville, 41-14 over the Vikings.
That's crazy talk.
Leo has a perfect 2-0 mark to start the season, and they go to Norwell. Norwell is on the rebuild, and they're going to get there, but they're not there yet. Leo, one of the top teams in the conference, will defeat the Norwell Knights 21-6.
You're pretty good.
Adams Central has not been as dominant as we've seen them the last 3 years. Now they have to go down and take on a Muncie Central squad that's had 2 close, low-scoring games. This might be a defensive battle that I think Adams Central is going to continue to find their offense. And I think Adams Central is going to go down to Muncie and get a win. Flying Jets, 28. Muncie Central, 14.
Look at this idiot. One ball and no brains.
Jay County will take on Southern Wells. It's somewhat of a neighborhood rivalry. These 2 schools not that far apart. Jay County's going to get the victory at Southern Wells, 34-13.
You're a smart man.
It is a good one at Bluffton when South Adams visits the Bluffton Tigers. You know, South Adams has given up some points in their first 2 weeks, and the Bluffton Tigers, they've been scoring them. I think Bluffton is going to have too much offense for South Adams to stay in this one. I think eventually Bluffton pulls away. They'll win it over the Starfires, 37-20.
You know, I didn't think this could get any worse, but haha, it has.
Casey Kolkman certainly turned around a heritage program that was struggling for a number of years. Now Brock Rohrbacher's trying to do the same with the Woodland Warriors. The two East Allen County schools meet in ACAC play Friday night. I'm going to give Heritage a 27-14 win.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
You know, the Cherubusco Eagles have been one of the surprise teams to me. This is a quality football team that dominated Bremen in week 1 and had a back-and-forth tight battle against Lakeland in week 2. Now in week 3, Cherubusco has to travel to Garrett to take on the Railroaders, who are still trying to overcome heavy graduation of a really quality class from a year ago. I'll tell you what, I think this Cherubusco Eagles squad is going to go into Garrett and get a win. How about it? Turtletown. Cherubusco is going to defeat the Garrett Railroaders 20-14.
Try an association, like, let's say the average person uses 10% of their brain. How much do you use? 1.5%.
Fremont's got a 2-0 record, but they've played a couple of teams that they should be 2-0 against. They took care of business against teams that they were superior to. Now, they have to take the short trip over to Angola to take on the Hornets. And I think Angola is going to be too much of a test for Fremont. Angola wins it over Fremont, 33-13.
Is he all there, like mentally?
I think so. He's just an odd guy.
Lakeland comes off that close one against Cherubusco last week, but a win is a win, and now Lakeland goes on the road to take on Prairie Heights. It's too much Lakeland, 35-12 over Prairie Heights.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
Finally, this has the makings of what could be a pretty good game with West Noble visiting Butler, Indiana to take on the East Side Blazers. West Noble's been the class of the NECC for the last 3 years. East Side was dominant before that, and East Side looks to be on the right track to making a comeback. This is not a bad East Side team, but it's still a really good West Noble squad. Give West Noble a win against the Blazers, 35-20.
Why don't you stop talking for a while?
Maybe sit the next couple plays out.
And those are your high school football picks of the week.
Brilliant!